Okay, so I came to check on the hives today, and you'll notice quite a difference here. So the one on the right, this past weekend when I did an inspection, I pulled out the entrance reducer, which you want to, you want to reduce their entrance while they're growing and while they're getting acclimated, so that they can better protect their hive from other bees and other insects and animals and things like that. So this hive was stronger right out of the gate, so I pulled the entrance reducer out last week, and you can see they're just kind of hanging out and doing their thing. Before I pulled the entrance reducer out on this one last weekend, they were doing what this hive is doing. And what they're doing is called bearding. They're just clumped together on the outside. And what they're doing that because they have to keep the inside of the hive at a very specific temperature. And you can see I've got an entrance reducer still in this hive because it was a little bit smaller, not quite as strong. The queen was introduced a little bit later, so the brood the new bees were a little bit behind. So they're bearding outside right now. It's a hot, Texas day. It's, got up in the 90s today, and it's pretty close to that right now. So what they're doing is really they're literally just hanging out, and so that the hive doesn't get too hot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that entrance reducer out, and hopefully they won't get too mad at me. I'm going to do it with a stick because I don't want to squish anybody. Oops. Just going to pry it out. There we go. Alright, we'll just let these guys hang out up here. Oh, there they go. So that should open up a little more airflow through the hive. They'll still beard, they'll still come out and hang out and keep the hive cool, but you can see towards the entrance there, now they're trying to figure out what's going on. But, there's still guys coming in with pollen. You can't see really right now, but there's a bunch of bees dancing outside the front, and they do that probably because they're newer bees and they're probably just getting acclimated to the area. That's how they start to kind of figure out, how to map out where their hive is. But anyway. It's just something to, and they're pretty docile at this point. You can move them around, and they don't, they're not being protective or anything like that. They're just hanging out. So put that guy back. But yeah, anyway, again, I'm still kind of all new to this, but what I've read and what I've seen on other videos and stuff is, this is pretty normal. Before a hive is going to swarm or split in two, you might see some bearding like this as well. But I just put this hive together like, what, a month and a half, 2 months ago, if that. So I know they're not swarming. I know they haven't built out the inside of their hive yet to the point where they're too big for it. But what you can see here as well is that a lot of the bees with they have their rear ends facing out, and they're fanning their wings as fast as they can go, and that's what you're hearing, that fanning, and all they're doing, they're fanning air and they're moving air into the hive to cool it down. And there's bees that'll be right on the inside of the hive entrance doing the same thing. So like all these, you know, right through here, they're all fanning and moving air through the hive. It's pretty cool. You know, like I said, they keep a very specific temperature inside the hive, and this is just what they do when it gets a little bit warmer. Some of the bees will come out and let the other bees work on moving air through the hive. So anyway, just wanted to point that out, and it's another cool thing that bees do.